Suns were one of the most promising teams going into this NBA season. We looked at Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and we all said to ourselves that the Phoenix Suns should compete for a title. They didn't even compete in the first round in the Western Conference. Shady McCoy, what is your reaction to Frank Vogel getting fired? I feel bad for Frankie. Because the thing is, like, when you start putting these super teams together, right, and you put this all-star here, this all-star here, you put them all together and say, listen, you got to win with this team. And if they don't win, they get fired. So I feel bad for him because as a coach, it takes more than just 1 year to put something together, right? You got to have these pieces. I need to see who's my defensive guys, my offensive scorers, my big men, guys on the bench. You got to put everything together. I think that sometimes we look at a super team as, okay, we don't care nothing about the team. We see superstars, we need results right away. Yeah. And as you see, he didn't get it right away. But what he got right away is fire. And I think he's a really, really good coach. Joy, what you make of it? Frank Vogel fired. What's your reaction?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think Frank Vogel is a very good coach. He's a championship coach. We've seen what he did before he came to Los Angeles. And I don't think 1 year is enough time to put together a team, to put together a culture, which obviously the Suns did not have. They have a new owner. He's very aggressive, obviously. He has high expectations. But you built this team a very specific way. And it's very heavily on the players because you do not have a deep roster because you have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. We knew that's what this was going to be going into the season. They talked about it. They're going to win through scoring. So if any of those three don't perform at their highest level when it matters most, you're going to lose, particularly when you're going up against a roster like the Minnesota Timberwolves playing at the level that they're playing, and they're not built that same way. They also been built over time. So it requires a little bit of patience. It requires a masterful job at building the rest of the roster if you're going to be this top heavy. I mean, Bradley Beal had his lowest average in the last 7 years, 18.2 points in the postseason. We watched it. Like, they did not play at the highest level. Kevin Durant did what he was supposed to do. Everyone else kind of fell short night after night. And they got eliminated. They were the first team out of the playoffs. I think there's a little bit of shame, obviously, in that they got swept, and that feels more dramatic when you have those three stars. But I don't think this is on Frank Vogel. I think they have a lot of work to do with the rest of the roster. And, you know, it's unfortunate because, as Shady said, when you put together these super teams, you really don't want to have any excuses. But there can be reasons why you're not winning as well. And if you do have a super team, it should actually be on the players who are in that super to be super when it matters most. And they weren't.
Yeah, I think super teams have cost coaches a lot more jobs than they've done well for coaches. Think about Steve Nash. Steve Nash thought he had it made when he went to Brooklyn. I got KD.
I did too.
I got Harden. I got Kyrie. Thought he had it made. Out of there. Frank Vogel won a championship. Out of there. These super teams are fool's gold as I look at them. James Jones, what do you make of it? Frank Vogel, he just lasted one season, big dog.
Yeah, I mean, one season definitely ain't enough. A lot of these people, organizations, they want to see immediate turnaround, go win a championship. They had a good coach, too, that took them to the finals, and they fired him. You know, so all this juggling of coaches and all that, I live in Arizona, and they was super juice, Katie and them boys was there, and all I kept saying is, y'all one of the few organizations that ain't got no championship. And this is the reason why. What are y'all doing? Y'all have a good coach, y'all let him go. He take you to the finals. He got a really good young roster that he had. You traded all those players away for KD, thinking that this super team was going to get it done. You traded most stuff away for Bradley Beal, and now you're sitting in this spot, and it's all on the coach. I watched that series. Booker didn't look too good neither. KD played all right, and we all know Bradley Beal ain't show up yet. So I know we want to blame the coach, but 1 year, at least let him come in the next season and find him a point guard maybe to lead this team. Maybe see how this rotation is going to go with the three superstars. Maybe Bradley Beal comes off of the bench. Who knows? But at least give him another year to see what he can do. One and done. I mean, it's not too many coaches. Like, I feel like the Lakers going to take that Suns team to the championship.
You know, and my thing is, like for all these superstar players, right, everybody needs them, right? I don't care who it is. You need them to win. But why they don't get enough, like, blame for this, right? Like, I get you fired Frank, right? I mean, I just don't like it because it's only 1 year. But it's like Bradley Beal, who I thought was a phenomenal player, right, on both sides of the ball. We all talk about offense, but he was solid on defense. He didn't play nowhere near what he used to be. And then even Booker. Booker's a scoring bucket. If you watched that last series, it was nowhere near that. So as much as we want to blame the coach, because how much can the coach really do when my star players? See, I always felt like, as a coach, for me, Andy Reid, one of the best of all time, he gonna put us in a position to win. But he ain't about to just make a drastic change in the running schemes, right? We got to show you the ball in certain ways. No, he's going to get his plays for me to get busy, but he's not going to, like, overdo it, okay? Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback, right? I mean, you can look at Patrick Mahomes and KD, they both is greats, right? Obviously. But it's like, you're not going to overdo it for your star players. I feel like the coach, he's best when he can get the guys, the second-tier guys playing well, right? The number 3 wide receiver, right, that didn't do well for this team, but on my team, he's solid enough. The backup quarterback, our starting quarterback's hurt, but I've coached him so well, I put him in a situation to win where he's going to do all right. That's what the coach is for. But the star dude was like, I need you to beat stars.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Especially in the playoffs.
Come on.
Put your team in the position to be the best that they can be. Elevate your players that we aren't going to blame for this, and count on your stars to be big when they are supposed to be big. Keep in mind, there was a time when they were in the play-in. They ended up being the 6th seed. So it's not like the rest of the entirety of the season was a failure. It just got to the postseason, and your stars underdelivered, which they did, and you can't move on from your stars, and you're not going to. You need talent to win. But I just don't like the lack of patience with building cultures, really. Like, when you need to build and establish a culture and an identity, you have a very top-heavy team. That takes a little bit of time. It takes some tinkering with the roster. It takes time to build chemistry. I mean, you have a championship-winning coach. It's not that I don't think anyone else can go in there and coach and do a better job, but it just feels very drastic. It feels dramatic. It feels like somebody's head had to roll, so let's fire the person that we can fire, because even though we might talk about players under-delivering, what are we going to do about it? Nothing.
You think it's lack of money? I mean, you think it's lack of results for the money? Like, so all these guys, like we just seen Bill, they owe him
$1 million.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, man, we got to get our money worth. Is that why you think they fire him so fast? Because I'm thinking like, what's 1 year going to do?
I think it's reactionary. I think it's based off of the expectations that we have because of the money, because of the names, because of the conversation about we're going to go and win a title, who's going to guard us. Once you have all the things out there, the city's excited about it, the fans are disappointing, there's pressure to do something. To me, though, that's when real ownership and front office steps up and says, no, we know what we're doing, and we don't have to lean into what everyone is asking for. Now, I don't know what the players' roles were in this. Maybe they were upset with Vogel, and that's why this ended up being the case. But again, I think you have to have a balance there. I think the best organizations have a balance of listening to and respecting your top players, and then also having a plan.
Yeah. The question for me then is, who do y'all blame? Who do y'all blame?
Because I blame the players.
Which ones?
The superstars, right?
All three?
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the roster-wise, right, or star power, I know that we always argue about the rosters. I would take a power 3, right? I look at it, if one of these stars goes to Miami, you know where they would be? Seriously, you know where they would be?
Yeah.
So it's like some people like, all right, I want maybe a star or 2 and then a great bench. I want the 3 superstars, because I'm thinking if he's off, okay, he got it. Okay, if they both off, which is, rare, he got it. Right? Somebody can carry us. Somebody can close the games out. They have them 3. They didn't do it. I was surprised because they always low-key getting locked up.
I guess my question, though, then is, isn't it on the coach to put the players in the best positions to succeed?
Not the stars. And not,
that's what I was saying.
And not those stars. Like, Devin Booker has played in a finals. Kevin Durant is over here. Bradley Beal is one of the most respected players in the league. Yeah. So I think it's a coach's job to put everyone in the best place to succeed, but his job really is to put everybody, not these stars, in the best position to succeed.
It's hard for me to digest, though, because and we saw it, obviously, with Miami, with Spoelstra and whatnot, and putting LeBron and D-Wade in great positions to succeed. We saw it with Kerr. Putting Steph Curry, putting Kevin Durant, putting Klay Thompson in positions to succeed. I do think when you get those stars, sometimes you do try to just relax and say, well, y'all are stars, go get it. But regardless of the sport, I do think a coach has some responsibility to still help his players.
But even with those coaches, it wasn't just 1 year.
Yeah.
Bron and them with Spoelstra, like, it took some time for them boys. Rotation, how we going to...
They go to the chip.
I know, but I'm just saying, though, like, it takes time to win these things. Same thing with the Warriors. It takes time.
But look how I think he got fired because of how bad it was.
He got fired because...
swept. If they didn't get swept, I don't believe he got fired.
No, I think if they don't even win, I think they still gets fired. But even that, you brought up a good point with all them coaches and all that. But, like, with the Warriors, with Kevin Durant there, when Kerr, I don't know if y'all remember, he went out. And Luke Walton carried him. Mike Brown. Because we got stars. Now, the role players, right? I get that. The loonies of the world, yeah, cool. help him play better, put him in a better situation to win. I'm cool with that. But my main dudes, that I'm putting all the salary cap up for, right, that I'm training my players for, I know what you're going to give me. I watched you do it for all these years. You don't have to get a guy like Kevin Durant motivated. You don't have to put him in the great position to win because that's what he is. He's a baller.
And not only that, these dudes played 20-something games together during the season.
Yeah.
So what you want the coach to do? Like, we can't even get in rhythm. I don't even know how you guys are playing. We played 20-something games. 41 games together. It's 82 of them.
Yeah.
41 games. So how am I supposed to even figure out what my rotation going to be? What's going on? Y'all ain't even playing enough games together. I blame this on the organization.
Is this still a good job? I don't believe it is. I don't believe it.
With them three?
Yeah, the reason I don't believe it is because what we have seen of big threes, and I won't tether it to Kevin Durant, but it has just so coincidentally happened to follow him, is those coaches, they come and they go real quick and you do not win much. Remember, the Brooklyn Nets got swept by the Celtics during the Kevin Durant era. And then Kevin Durant has gotten swept by the T-Wolves right now in this era. So if you go coach that team, because of the thought process of Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, you are expected to have instantaneous results. I don't think you're going to get instant results. Again, outside of the Golden State Warriors, and I attribute much of their success to Steph Curry, his selflessness, and his ability to also figure out what role he needs to play on the basketball court to allow everybody else to succeed. I attribute a lot of that success to Steph. Do y'all still think the Suns' job is a good job?
It depends on what kind of organization Matt Ishbia wants to run.
Based on the one he's been running.
It depends on what he wants to do moving forward. Do you want to build an organization that is a perennial competitor, that has a roster that can match up with the teams that aren't panicking and firing people, that have built cultures? Like, that's who beat you. Timberwolves have been building this. They have a roster. They have a system. They have a culture. They have chemistry. And they got stars.
But clearly he doesn't want to build that kind of culture.
I'm saying.
Because remember, Ayton was out of there.
You've
CP3 out of there.
made your adjustments. Like, he's new there.
Should have kept Monty, though. Yeah. I'm cool with CP leaving. I'm cool with big boy Ayton. He could leave. I'm cool with that. But I think Monty did a great job because he carried them boys, right? And they went there. They didn't win, but they got there. And I think you build on that. I think if you add in Kevin Durant, eventually when he comes in there, like, I think it would have been a better situation. I just think that it's hard to really get that chemistry. Like, this thing about this when you played, like I always like in my real estate world, right? I always tell my guys, yo, I don't want to have because I like the, you sub and workout, the different things, plumbers, right, drywall and all that. I tell them, I don't want to have a new coach every job.
Yeah.
I want to work with the same guys. You did my plumbing last project, I want you to do this project. You see what I'm saying? Because now I got to learn everything.
And you know what he going to do.
Yeah, how's he? Dang, KD, I know he's nice, but how's he like the ball? Okay, my point guard. No, I want to know how everything is working. And if you keep changing pieces out, it's going to be hard to gel that chemistry.
If I'm a coach, though, I'm with Shady. If you saying you giving me a job opportunity to be an NBA head coach, and I got Booker, KD, and Bradley Beal on my roster, give me that job. I'll let all this stuff fall where it may.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Are you playing 2K, though? Because this ain't 2K.
I'm playing real basketball. I'm playing real basketball.
You don't win in this league without talent.
Playing Madden.
If you're talking about longevity, I don't know. That's going to depend on what the organization what they want their brand to be. Are they going to actually build? They don't have a cultural identity. You can't have Monty and then fire him. You can't have Frank for 1 year, bring in these players and fire him. Like, you're not really messing with these other organizations out in the West if that's how you're running the business.
This Suns team, though, isn't currently constructed to be there for the next 5 years. Kevin Durant is an older player. Bradley Beal is an older player, has a lot of tread on his tires. Though Devin Booker's not an older player, he's been in the league for a minute. 7 coaches in 10 years. So if you are a new coach coming over here, like
7 coaches
in 10 years. So this is not a team that you are going to be building for the next long haul. That's what you were supposed to do with Devin Booker 4 years ago.
Let's say not the long haul, like she's saying. Let's just say 3 years.
KD is going to be, what, 37?
I don't care about that. He ain't slowing down no time soon.
Listen, again, I can never say that coaching in the NBA or being a head coach in the NBA or the NFL is a bad job. I can't say that. If you're talking about I'm gonna move my kids there and buy a house and they're gonna graduate from this school, probably not. Like, yeah, you might want to keep them where they're at and do the little flying back and forth thing. I mean, they gave him a 5-year, $31 million deal.
He get all that though.
Yeah, he'll get paid. He's gonna pay to not be there. But it's not about the money. It's about the principle of it has to be a good job because there are only 30 of these. So, like, it is a good job from that perspective. If you're talking about longevity, if you're talking about is this a place that I want to go to? Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.